What is going on, all you minties? This is the Uncanny Omar from Near Mint Condition, and join me today for an overview of the How to Make Capcom Fighting Character Street Fighter character design. That is a mouthful. Hardcover from Udon, so please stay tuned. And welcome back, everybody. Now, before I get started, a huge thank you to the folks at Udon for sending us a copy of this hardcover. This hardcover, as you can probably tell, does not come with a dust jacket. It's literally the art on board. So on the front here, we have Street Fighter's Ryu. And then in the back, you see some character designs and sketches. And then here you see, almost feels like the handbook guide to the Marvel Universe is what these feel like. At least the outside of it, on the board, the art on the board. Now, let's take a look inside. Let's open this up. We have these red bookend pages, probably based on Ryu's bandana. The How to Make Capcom Fighting Character Street Fighter character design. This is a really interesting title because a lot of you have been asking me to make this video not knowing exactly what this book is, so I hope I can clarify exactly what this is. So here is the table of contents. Some scenes from Street Fighter V. The book has 288 pages, and the pages, I'm sure you can tell, got to change the lighting here in a second so there's no glare, are glossy, thick pages. So this kind of gives you an idea of what to expect. So we are broken down into chapters. We're kicking it off with Street Fighter V. So I didn't know exactly what this was supposed to be. It's the stories and the characters that are based on the original concepts, how they came up with some of these ideas, and then they kind of give you a little bit of the background of the Unreal Engine, right? So what I was actually expecting was a lot more character sketches or how to draw, but it's literally how to come up with a character within this engine. So I guess if you're a programmer, that's pretty badass. But we'll get to the other stuff here. Now, I don't see anywhere on the cover Street Fighter V, right? But literally 2/3 of the book is nothing but Street Fighter V. So let me just break it down because every one of these is just like this. So you have Ryu. We're kicking it off with Ryu. You have the voice actors, the Japanese and English, the profile data about the character, and then the original designer, which in this case is Akiman. In most cases, is going to be Akiman. You have the concept art, so you have the character designer comment, and it's all based on Street Fighter V. There's also the game developer comment in each one of these. So you see all the costumes, and these are the pictures. Yeah, so it's that big. I was expecting a lot bigger. You have in-game action shots, and then we go to Chun-Li. Same thing. You have a character profile here, the profile data, the voice actors from Japan and English, the original designer comment, the character designer comment, and then all the costumes. Granted, this is beautiful. I mean, some of these outfits are gorgeous. But as someone that hasn't played Street Fighter V that much, a lot of these are brand new, or I don't even know if these are real or if they were just concept art. So there's Nash, otherwise known as Charlie. And I find that interesting because the Japanese names for Bison and Balrog are all the same. But here in America, the names have changed. So Vega is the guy with the claws, and Bison is the final boss, and then Balrog is the guy with the boxing gloves. See what I mean? Vega. So, but it's all Street Fighter V stuff. And I think, it's cool, right? But these are some tiny pictures. I would like to have seen a lot more character designs of like the original Birdie when he first appeared, or then his Alpha makeover. Here's Dalzim, and it's Dalzim from Street Fighter V. There's very, very little of Dalzim from Street Fighter II. Rainbow Mika, and you get the idea. It's pretty much all the characters, and granted, some of them have a lot more costumes than others, so they have a lot more pages, but yeah, very little to do with the rest of the Street Fighter series until, like I mentioned, about 2/3 of the book. So let's fast forward a little bit. There's some characters. I haven't played Street Fighter V. That's how much of a fanboy I have not been for a long time. So now we get to the Capcom Fighting character history. You get interviews, character references, and then the things that are reprinting that were previously printed before in other books. So this is pretty much the story of Final Fight, how it came to be. This is the kind of stuff that I like looking at. Little original sketches from Final Fight, how some of these characters transferred over to Street Fighter, why some of them were chosen, some of them stayed behind. And I will say that in the Street Fighter V section, there are some concept art for characters that didn't make it into the game. So I did enjoy that. Here's Street Fighter 2, the exact same thing, the story of Street Fighter 2, Street Fighter 1 wasn't this big sensation, but then Street Fighter 2 just kind of blew up, and from there, fighting games just became their own genre at the arcade. And then we have like this, Street Fighter 3 and 4 together, which is really odd, because Street Fighter 3 to me is like a godsend when it comes to 2D animation. It's up there with Street Fighter Alpha 3. But, I mean, this is all the pages that are dedicated to just Street Fighter 3 and 4. Here's the character references. This is the kind of stuff I love seeing. My favorite thing, and I mean my most favorite thing about this book, doesn't happen until the end, and I wish it was longer. Here's Street Fighter character references. The pictures are really tiny. I wish they were bigger. Like this. See, this is Street Fighter 3 character references. That's actually from the scenes in the video game. Different characters. Elena. Sean. I do like the fact that they tell you the history of the characters, though. Going back to this really quick, like Laura, how she's related to Sean, and the timeline of Street Fighter, because it can get a little confusing. But this is my favorite section right here, starting on page 262. And if you've been keeping up with what I've been talking about, the book is only 288 pages. Apparently, this was printed before in its own book, and this is The Anatomy, a Strange Guide for Artists. This is so freaking just important to me that I would love to have seen the entire book like this. So it breaks down the muscles, the bones, how just the body's supposed to move, even though the characters are huge, right? Like characters like Zangief or Blanca or Abigail. But muscles work the same no matter how big you are. So I find it interesting that this was kept all the way in the back when I probably would have put this in the front of the book and made it a lot longer. And then you have Akimon's sketch notes here. Of course, he's the original designer for a lot of these. There's my boy Rolento and Guy. And then the interview with him to wrap up the book. And we'll go back a little bit here to talk about the build. And then, of course, the credits here. The translation credits, and then the Udon staff themselves, and the special thanks. So, again, to recap, it's a lot of this, pretty much. You have the character sketch, the profile, a couple of comments from the designers, and then you move on to the next character. You get all their costumes, I assume, from Street Fighter V. Like, Ibuki has a ton, and I don't know if, like, all of these were made. I do, like I said, my favorite thing, because I like to read behind-the-scenes things, are how these characters tie to other Capcom franchises. Like, what is the tie between this and something like Strider? Named my dog after that freaking game, so I really love that game. There's Urien, and what his ties are to Gil, and how they were able to make him come from Street Fighter 3 over to 4 and 5. And this is some of the unused characters I was talking about. There's a couple pages like this. I wish these were bigger, like full pages. And they're broken down by seasons, so it depends on when the characters came out that they appear in this book. As far as the binding, it is sewn binding, and there's that eye. So there is absolutely no gutter loss. Not that there's any splash pages, maybe a couple. But don't expect something like the art books that Udon has been putting out. This is a lot different. This is really almost like a reference guide if you're making the video game. So I find a book like this interesting and unique. Probably would have gone with another title, because to me, how to make Capcom fighting characters means I'm going to teach you how to draw, or I'm going to teach you some design, or how to make these character models using the Unreal Engine, which they do get into. But I don't know. Oh, that's a cool costume. There. Okay, that is my favorite thing too. Is I like looking at the costumes, the different costumes. I'm still a sucker and idiot for those kind of things. But that, as they say, is that. Now, if you're wanting to purchase this book, don't forget to check out our sponsor, cheapgraphicnovels.com, your online source for collected editions up to 50% off retail price. Cheap Graphic Novels prides itself on excellent packaging, so your stuff gets to you in excellent condition, and they have amazing customer service. Check out their bargain deals for up to 90% off cover price. And for all you Minties that are watching, if you're a first-time customer, don't forget to mention that Near Mint Condition sent you their way for a promotional credit on free shipping on your next order. Now, this is only for U.S. customers. CheapGraphicNovels.com, your source for the hottest books with deep discounts, customer service, and excellent shipping that will keep you coming back for more. And that was the page count and the build of this particular art book. Let me know in the comments down below if you collect any art books, if you collect just the Street Fighter art books, what your favorite ones are. Like I said, I may do my top 10 favorite art books. I've been looking at them again, just rearranging down here in my basement. But yeah, I would love to know if you all want to see something like that. This one was pretty interesting. Not exactly what I was expecting, but still pretty cool. Again, this was the Uncanny Omar. Please don't forget to hit that like, subscribe button, ring that bell for notifications to let you know when our videos are going live. We can be found on Redbubble and on Patreon. Amazing ways to support the channel. All of that information is in the description down below. More importantly, all of you, stay healthy, stay safe, and much love.